Hi everyone, welcome to She's More Than Rubies. I'm Oli and this is my co-host Robyn.
Hi.
This episode is dear to our hearts and it is on special needs. We just want to share some of our probably perspective as parents with kids with special needs and also our journey. Both of us have our boys, both of them have special needs. And Robyn, do you want to share a little bit about Joaquin and, even I know you're a mum too, Joaquin, and your journey, having a son with special needs.
So, my son, Joaquin.
Yeah.
He's 18. He'll be turning 19 in September this year. So it only feels like yesterday that, that we gave birth to them. So Joaquin actually he was diagnosed with global developmental delay. Yeah. So we came to this diagnosis probably when he was about maybe two years old. So within the first 2 years of his life, it was kind of, it was a lot of uncertainty for us. Yeah, so we were trying to, do all the testing, your normal, blood tests and assessments and things like that. And because he was so little at the time as well, we had to do like MRIs and things like that. And so thankfully the testing did come back with some, results that helped, name the condition that he had. And so, but I also heard that with global developmental delay, it's something that kids are kind of given when there's no other condition.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because he was quite delayed in everything, like his gross motor skills, his fine motor skills. He didn't start walking till he was 4.5. His nonverbal. Yeah. Yeah, so I think our journey began, 18 years ago. He's now 18. And there's been a lot of challenges, ups and downs, and it's definitely been a journey. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I know he, you would be his primary carer.
Right.
Primary carer.
Yeah.
And I know mum was also Joaquin's
she played
carer.
a huge role.
She played a massive role in that. So some of the challenges that you mentioned, there are some of the challenges that you faced. Could you share one of them? One of your challenges?
I think adapting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I've got Kiana.
Yeah.
Who's 22. She'll be 23 this year. So with Kiana, there's a 4-year gap between her and Joaquin. So with Kiana, she was like a perfect textbook baby. Right. She reached every milestone and literally whatever you read on, in the book, she was reaching them right at the right time and stuff. Yeah. And so her upbringing was very normal. And so with Joaquin, I guess the challenge was when we found out what his diagnosis was, and we saw the signs from when he was a baby. He was reaching every milestone until he was 5 months. And then from the 6-month mark, he started to regress. Okay. He wasn't reaching any more milestones. And so at the time we were seeing an early childhood nurse at our local chemist back then. So she had raised some red flags with me about it. She didn't actually, I wouldn't say red flags, but I could see the concern in her face when she said, okay, you need to get a second opinion, because our GP at the time was just saying, look, babies, they all develop at different rates and different ages. Yeah. Joaquin could just be a late bloomer. But I knew deep down.
That's right.
As a mum, we have that instinct that there was maybe something more because he was quite a floppy baby. He couldn't sit up unsupported at 6 months. Yeah. And so I guess the challenge was, coming to terms with, maybe having a child with special needs. Yeah. You always think about it as other families that experience it, and you hear about other families, and of other families who have a child that has special needs, but you never dream about it or, see it for yourself. Yeah. Right. You never imagine that, that you would have a child with special needs. And so I guess the challenge, the first big challenge for us was to kind of adapt our family life around Joaquin's needs. Yeah.
You mentioned about, you just shared about your challenges and that adapting to it, and how did you balance that, even with ministry and that? With having
it was
a child with
difficult.
special needs, which it would be very difficult.
Yeah, it was really hard because we had so we were installed as pastors in 2009. Yeah. So Joaquin was just turning 3. He was just shy of 3 years old. And so at that time we had already received the diagnosis, and like I was still trying to, come to terms with it. And then I thought, wow, like, are we going to be able to do this?
Yeah,
like, we've got, Joaquin needs so much care, and, I don't know if I'm going to be able to perform the duties of, a pastor's wife. We're having this child with special needs, and it all was quite very overwhelming for me, and I guess for Stan as well. And Kiana was still very little. So, for her, it was just, kids have this great ability of to adjust, to their environment, different things that happen. But for us, it was definitely a challenge for us. And it wasn't just that year, but the many, many years following after that. And still, now that he's 18, I still, we still have challenges, which is, normal for, any family that has a child or a young adult, that has special needs.
Like even like in the early years, like what we have now, all the support and the resources that we have now. I can recall like early in the years when I had my son. It was so hard to find places where I could get help.
Right.
Probably my GP, kind of minimal, but I found it through friends that had kids with special needs.
Right.
So we would share information and where to get like extra support. Like, there was a place I remember was Link Services. I remember I used to go through them, and they would give us 5 sessions for free for Aiden for the speech thing. Saying that, I was like, it was really hard for us. We didn't really have the support that we have now.
Right.
We got NDIS.
Oh my goodness.
And it's been massive. It's been a weight lifted off us because we can't do it by ourselves.
No.
Having the care, coming out, taking and getting our respite. Even like when the carers do come out, I used to worry still.
Of course.
If they were doing their job.
I still worry about them now,
But you can tell that if your child enjoys it, like they're happy, they come back. But I'm always asking questions, know. But, now just seeing Joaquin, he's so beautiful. He's, you could see he even like talks and likes to have a chat, and see where he is today, Rob, is because of you and Stan. You raised up a beautiful boy, and Kiana, and you sharing about Kiana. I was thinking about Hannah. When Aiden was born, how do I tell Hannah, about Aiden's?
What's the age gap between them?
So Hannah's 22, Aiden's 19.
Oh, okay.
So not too far. Very close. Yeah.
They're only a year apart.
Yeah. So
well,
Hannah was more of a mother to her brother.
Yeah.
And I think she saw a lot of things that I did with Aiden, and she kind of copied what I did, and like even when I was protecting him from nasty words from other kids, and Hannah could see that I was protecting him. So she does the same.
She's very protective.
And even though she'll have her days where she will have a bit of a argument or those love me hate relationship with the siblings, but she protects him. And same like Ruben. But like that would be the same with Kiana too. She'll be
Yeah, I think so. Like with Hannah, like I've seen the relationship that she has with Aiden, and it's a beautiful relationship. I've always said to you that Hannah is very maternal. She's got like a lot of maternal instincts, and she has cared for her brother very well. Kiana's the same. Like I think it took her a while to kind of get used to the fact that Joaquin was not like other children or herself. So I think for her to process that at such a young age, because they were both young, she was 4. I think it was only until she was maybe like around 6 or 7 that she really took an interest in her brother. Like, you read about in textbooks about how, like, when another sibling comes, always get the other sibling a gift, so that you can give it to them at the hospital. And so we did all that, got her the gift and everything. And so we tried our very best to try and include her in everything, because our lives were so focused around Joaquin's needs.
Yeah.
And I guess that's another challenge, for families that do have children, a child that has special needs and then they have siblings is, you fear, neglecting the other child. And so one thing that we did was I got her into a support group.
Yeah.
When I think she was like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And it was a group that was run by Junction Works.
Oh, okay.
In Wetherill Park. And it was a group for siblings of children with special needs.
That's good.
She would attend that weekly.
That's good.
Yeah, she'd get to do lots of fun things, meet other children that also had a sibling that had special needs. And I think that really helped her, and kind of filled in the gaps, so to speak, where we couldn't, And so it was good for her to kind of, build relationships with other kids because that way I think she was able to open up to them as well. So, it's been,
Oh, wow. When I got told that Aiden had special needs, like similar age when I found out that Aiden was diagnosed with also global delayed intellectual disability, and I actually cried.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I cried. Like, I said, Lord, what's
happening?
What the heck?
Yeah.
And it really taught a lot about myself.
Right.
And I would protect Aiden, as in like there were days I didn't want to take him out.
Yeah.
Because people are mean, kids were mean,
Yeah.
Even into McDonald's and those places. But he would always want to go play.
Yeah.
But I would say, no, don't go, but I'm always looking over my shoulder because there's always nasty comments about Aiden and because he's blind in his left eye. You can only see 10% in that left eye. So, and Aiden's always struggled when he was young. We used to patch his right eye to strengthen that eye, and he hated it. He used to rip it, and I used to feel bad. He would cry, and sometimes he's sneaky about it. He'll take it off, and then when I see him, he'll stick it back on again. So those are some of the challenges that I had to face, and I always questioned God about it. And then I did say to Paul, I don't know if I could do ministry. I don't know if I could do pastoring or, my son's my priority. Yeah. I felt like I missed out, but Paul would say, no, you're doing great, because you feel like you want to do more.
Yeah.
So, no, I cried. I was a mess when I found out that Aiden was diagnosed with special needs, with that. And then we, like you, went and got him checked out, and his speech, like you said, I used to think, because boys mature later than girls. And I thought, and then it was at a daycare I put him in. I thought, maybe he's still, maturing. And then one of the daycare teachers came up, and she was really upset that my son couldn't read or, be quick like the other kids.
Right.
So I told her before I put him in that he has special needs. Yeah. And then, and I really prayed and asked God to really help me because I needed to go to work, but I need some sort of support.
Yeah.
So there was a daycare. I would never forget this daycare. It was called White Dove. It was in Condell Park. I went in and asked them if there was any a spot there, and they put me down on the waiting list. And I really prayed and asked the Lord to help me because, Paul was the only one that was working. But financially, we were a little bit struggling. And so she rang me in a week. I went in, and that daycare, that place really did wonders for me, Robyn.
Wow.
Her name is Jenny, the manager. Okay. She is amazing. So I told her about Aiden. She hired a speech therapist to come, and I didn't pay nothing.
Wow.
They funded it through the daycare
my goodness.
To cover for the costs, and Aiden would love going.
Wow.
And that really helped me, And then when leading up to Aiden going to primary school, she got a staff from the Board of Education to come in and have a chat with me and Paul. And she gave me a whole list of schools when we moved out towards I boiled my ass. Me and Paul were crying in that room because we didn't know what to do.
Wow.
Like, I didn't know what to do, and she just gave us all the schools, and she was so supportive. And even she was crying to see us crying. Like, God was with us through the whole step of the way.
Definitely.
And because of that, I thank God for my son where he is today.
Oh my goodness, Aiden.
He's
He's
God.
done amazing.
Oh, praise God.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him.
Thank you. You know, he has his little challenges.
Yeah.
He's very independent.
He is.
Very independent
Yeah,
and loves to chat.
Yes.
Yeah. We've taught him a lot to make space, just, you know, have that space.
Personal space.
Your personal space with people.
Right.
Not everyone thinks like you.
Yeah. Okay.
Reminding him and all stuff. So right now he's talking about getting married.
Oh, okay.
And we're like, okay, bro, you just got a job.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But it was hard when they were younger.
Yeah, it was really hard. Definitely.
It was so young, and Mum used to also help.
Yes.
But, you know, she, you know, I didn't want to put that on her, but she was helping when she can.
Yeah.
With church and that, and sometimes we couldn't always take our kids.
Yes.
So probably one of the struggles and the challenge in church was kids bullying my son in church. And, you know, you go to church thinking it's a safe space.
A safe space, yeah.
But not physically, but verbally, you know, and that's why sometimes I didn't take them to church.
Right,
I always protect them.
Yes.
But no, that was hard.
It was really difficult when they were little.
Yeah, it was hard. So even getting them diagnosed,
yes,
and then finding out what their diagnosis is. Yeah. There was a couple of Sundays I had to stay home because of Aiden.
Right.
Because my son's tired. Yeah. You know, he's not. Yeah, he's energetic, but you know they do have you know, they do love to sleep. Aiden loves to sleep, loves his sleep, and.
It's like Joaquin. Does Aiden have low muscle tone? Because Joaquin's got low muscle tone.
No, he doesn't. I got him checked out for that. I thought he had autistic. Because he does a lot of things that I thought that, you know.
On the spectrum.
Yeah, so I got him checked out for that, and they said that, no, he doesn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I always encourage him to try his best.
Yes.
Yeah. I encourage him. He likes challenges.
He does, yeah. He does,
like he's doing weightlifting.
Wow.
In the gym.
Yeah, that's right.
And because I think I did mention that he wanted to do Paralympics. Yes. So now the coach there has referred him to another section of within the area.
Okay.
It's not Paralympics, but it's linked in. Yeah. That he can do other comps.
That's amazing.
So they said, no, we don't want to not stop him from coming. Right. But there are other comps that he can participate and compete in. Sure. Yeah. So it was good. You know. So we just sent his IQ results to them, and then they will organize a time where he can train. Yes. Yeah. So he was like, oh, Mom. And I said, no, it's all right. God will make a way. So you try to encourage, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And, you know, our kids always want to be like every other kid, right, Robyn?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
They want to, you know, be involved in
be involved and participate.
And not limit themselves because of their disability.
Yeah. And that's one thing I've seen with you and Paul in raising Aiden, that you don't limit him.
No, yeah. We try. And there's some things that I, like, for example, I know he wants to play rugby, and he's playing rugby, but trying to, because I know they play Sundays, and if the days that they do play his team, he gets to have an opportunity to go for a run. Right. And he thinks he's one of those Panther players. Like, I don't know if you've seen how they run and they jump on each other. Aiden does it with all his friends.
Oh my goodness.
And it's cute because they all, when they get the ball, they run backwards.
Right, okay.
Instead of running forward. But it's funny, but I think it's cute.
Yeah, it is cute. Yeah, definitely.
And raising a child with special needs has its challenges,
It does,
but it makes me love my son more.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate him, and I always tell him he's a hugger.
Yes.
So Joaquin's probably a hugger
He's
too.
affectionate.
Yeah, very affectionate. Yeah. He's very nosy.
Yes. Oh my goodness, the radars are always
You're very
out.
nosy. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and and I also was going to ask you, like, also bring up a child in church too, like your ministry and stuff like that. And I know sometimes you're not able to bring him to church.
Yeah, which is most times.
Yeah.
Really.
So how is that working for you now?
It's so with Joaquin, he does have some sensory issues.
Yes,
as well, which is I think part of why he does not like coming to church. So on a Sunday, Joaquin gets picked up by a support worker and he gets taken out, and I'll bring him to like special things at church, like All Nations or Easter or Father's Day and stuff. So he really doesn't want to come to that, but I'll try and force him on those days. But as he gets older, it's like getting harder and harder. And I know that I'll probably get some judgment from church that that Joaquin's hardly ever there, but it's okay. I mean, that's our situation. That's
you're investing in him. Being there for him.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel that's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I rather. I might be wrong with some people, but for me, I'd rather be there for my child and have someone else do that for me.
Amen.
Like I'm not going to mention names, but we have a family in our church that the wife is up there singing and the father's looking after the kids while she's ministering to the church singing. That he's part of the ministry. Yeah. He's allowing her to use her ministry to minister to people. But he's also helping her and blessing his kids, and he's also investing in them by looking after them, and I personally believe that's a beautiful ministry in itself. And me and Paul, we always encourage them, don't feel bad, and they get upset, not upset, but they feel bad that their kids are loud or like, no, you'd rather than be in church than go out, So I feel it's important that, being with your children, even though depending on the circumstances, they can't be there, you are investing in them, and you're their first teacher, in your home. So, but now just another question I wanted to ask. So, because you had mum as your support, have you had other family members help and support you with Joaquin?
Yeah. I mean, I have my sister and my brother.
Yeah,
and,
that's good.
And his wife. And also my in-laws. Yeah. They'll help when they can. But I mean, that was one thing that my mum had asked each of them when she was in hospital and she was not well. Her main concern was Joaquin. Who's going to look after him and stuff. And so she actually, spoke to my sister and said, you have to help Stan and Rob, look after Joaquin when I'm gone. And she even, said that to a couple of people from church as well. So, so I've got a great family support.
That's good.
As well as, support from, NDIS, like you mentioned before, like, back when our kids were little, we never had NDIS. And stuff. And so NDIS is a blessing. And there's so much stuff in the media about it. You have these dodgy people doing, different things. But NDIS has really helped us, financially. And also helped us to access services that we were, never able to or weren't aware of. And stuff. So that's played a huge part in our care for Joaquin. So with my mum, being gone now, it's been hard because they're not always available either to watch, if we have, special services on, a 3-day service, I'll only come to 1 or 2 of them because number one, it's expensive to get a support worker to look after, your kid, and then your family's not always available either. They have other plans and stuff. So, I mean, you just make it work, right? You make it work. And I guess you just learn to cope and, just to get on. Yeah. Like, I mentioned in our last episode about, in the early
probably in the early years, even growing up, that special needs wasn't a topic that was spoken about.
Right.
As a Polynesian, if you have a child with special needs, they'll look at that, you've sinned. So there's probably a curse on your child because of that. I mean, there's so much stuff they can talk about. But, and now, like, it's important that we do educate people about special needs.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it is out in the schools now and a lot of the workforces and that, you know, special needs has been talked about and people are being educated. But also I think it's also important to educate it also in church.
Yes.
Yeah. Which now we do have a ministry.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk us about that a little bit? Because I know you're part.
I think we'll have her as a guest soon. But so we've started the Belong Ministry, which is nationwide.
Yeah.
And I guess they're slowly rolling out, you know, to the local churches on having like a space, you know, where we can become more inclusive in the church environment, you know, with families who have children with special needs or young adults who have special needs, you know, older people as well. So I guess that's a work in progress and it's going to happen over time. You know, it doesn't happen overnight, but but it's great that we're finally doing something. And I think that's one of the big things with the churches is that we don't have that, you know, specific ministry to cater to families that have children with special needs or just have, you know, some sort of like, you know, space as well for them. And I think, that's just something that the Belong Ministry will be trying to cover.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not the kids' fault if they're not educated.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so it's important for parents to read into it.
Yeah.
It's very important. That you should read into it, educate yourself and educate your kids to, you know, support families and kids with special needs because, you know, they're souls.
They are.
They're souls and they belong to, you know, they are allowed to come to church and feel like, you know, they're in a safe space.
Yeah.
You know, and we want to create that,
Yeah, definitely.
for them, you know. So education is really important about special needs. And there's so many different diagnoses there,
There is so many.
I mean, I'm just speaking from a Polynesian perspective. Sorry, my English come out. So perspective, that, you know, just love your child, man. Like seriously, get them diagnosed. Because I know some of my family friends still have not diagnosed their kids. And they think it could be or they're autistic. They think that it's this, but I encourage them to go and get them diagnosed.
Early intervention.
Yeah,
is
definitely.
So important.
Definitely. I know also some of the, in the Polynesians, some of them, their own carers.
Right.
Like, you know, they've given up so much to care for their kids. You know, financially they can't afford it.
Right.
You know, and of course now we've got NDIS and the support of the government. You got the pension, disability, the carers allowance, all that's out. Yeah. So, get them diagnosed.
Absolutely. I'm going back to that point of, you know, Polynesians or Islanders. I found that when I was more open about Joaquin, because there was a time where I would not say it to anybody that, you know, that my son's actually been diagnosed with this condition. Because it's not easy for a parent to like, you know, come out and be so open about it. But then when I found myself speaking to other parents about it, and I think I was in creche for a little bit during that time when he was really little, and I did come across a lot of families who I could pick up signs of their kid maybe having something. Yeah. And so then I would speak to the parent and I wasn't very, like, always well received. Yeah. But then because I found that, you know, a lot of them were in that stage of denial where they're, you know, thinking there's nothing wrong with their child. Yeah. You know, he's just going through a phase or something. But then I would say, look, it's worth going to your GP, get a referral, go and see a pediatrician and get your kid assessed. Right. Like, it's not something easy to receive as a parent as well. So I understand why I wouldn't have been received very well. But I found that God's really used me to, to minister to
That's
parents as
awesome.
well that have made, and then like there's a few families in church where they've come back with a diagnosis that their child did have autism.
Yeah, see.
As well. And so, and plus we also have teachers in our church as well who work in the, education system. And, I've spoken to them and they've, throughout the years, and, we've picked up a few different things in Sunday school with kids and things. And so we've kind of worked like, collaboratively with the families as well to try and get their kids diagnosed. And it's so important. And especially like for us, Polynesian. It is a hard issue to address, because there's the pride aspect as well that,
it is. And if you had kids and probably one or two of them had special needs, they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
They don't talk about their diagnosis or their special need or disability. They don't talk about it. It's some people or parents or family are embarrassed to bring it up.
Yeah.
Because it causes gossip and
it does.
And just really sad, negative stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
So like Polynesians, we should encourage other Polynesians to
and I guess it's like talking about the attitude of Polynesians, I think, and it's not a new attitude to have, because even back in the Bible, I think it's in John chapter 7 where the disciples asked about the blind man, and they were saying to Jesus, who sinned? Did the parents sin or did he sin? And then Jesus says, neither of them sinned.
See,
right? And so it's the mentality that's not new,
right?
But a lot of cultures have that mentality that
they just take that one little portion of that, and then
but just direct them back to the scripture and say, hey, no, none of them sinned. It just happens.
That's right.
It's just something that happens.
That's right. And I think they exaggerate it a bit or take it too deep. But it is important. And Polynesians, they're very prideful and very embarrassed to talk about stuff like that. But it's okay. It's okay to talk about your child or a family member that does have special needs, because they need that help.
Yeah, absolutely.
They really need that help, and it saddens me to see that they just leave them in the house or lock them away in the room or don't really get them involved in anything. There's like daycare programs out there.
Yes. There's so many things.
There's so many things for them to take them and get that support.
Yes. And as you mentioned before in the beginning, that it's more talked about now.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot more in the open now. Yeah. There's, spaces and forums and platforms that are like actually promoting and really, addressing the issue of, disabilities and special needs and things like that. So there's no need to be embarrassed about those things. And
because it's normal.
Yeah, it is. It's part of life.
But they never saw it as normal.
No. Yeah. And I was at that stage once as well.
Same here, Robyn. Yeah. Same here. Because me growing up, my dad was the type of person like, you make a mistake, but don't tell me.
Right.
But I was always like, just a lot of negative feedback, not, just with Polynesians when it comes to special needs. It's like I said, I did bring it up. It is a topic that I don't like to talk about, especially if they have a child, they don't want to talk about it, because it's embarrassing. So, what are some of the beautiful moments your son has brought into your life? I'm sure there's a lot, and I've seen a lot.
There's a lot. I mean, his joy.
Yeah.
I mean, he lights up the room when he walks into it, and I mean, he's as we know, our kids teach us so much. They teach us that, like when I had Kiana, like for the 4 years that was just her, an only child, I just didn't think that I would have enough love for another child. Because how you just like pour everything into them. You think, I don't know if I could love a child as much as my first one.
Yeah.
And then Joaquin came along, and it's like, and then he had his special needs, and it just taught me so much about unconditional love and and just reminded me of how God loves us.
Yeah.
You know, it's not based on, you know, conditions, or, you know, his love's not based on our abilities or, you know, what we can do, because we love our kids just for who they are, right?
Right, yeah.
Despite what, you know, disability they have or whatever. Like it's just, yeah, it just reminds me of God's love for us. And so, yeah, Joaquin is just a reminder of that every day.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Of God's goodness.
Yes.
And his faithfulness, you
Right.
know. I always say to myself, you know, I always worry, I think I did mention about him, about Aiden, who is he going to marry? Or will he get married?
yeah.
You know, who's going to look after him when I leave?
Those are like the fears that we have.
That's
right?
my fear.
Yeah, that's mine as well.
That's my fear, you know, and we can only do the best we can.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, prepare a plan or some sort.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
And, you know, honest and deep. These are just some honest questions. So, have you ever had to let go of expectations you once had?
Oh my gosh. Let's just say we've let go of every expectation that we once had, right? Yeah. Because, I mean, we talk about it like in the other session about grief, because we all go through a grief because of like, you know, thinking, you know, you give birth to your child, you think everything's going to be normal, child's going to grow up, go to school, you know, become a teenager, enter into adult life. But then when your kid has special needs, it's like everything's just altered. You know, your life completely changes. Like completely. Yeah. You know, from what, you know, from how, I mean, you've raised your kid, your other kids. Yeah. Normal, like, you know, they've reached all the milestones. Yeah. And then you have this child that, you know, hasn't reached any milestones. Is, you know, regressed in whatever condition it is. He's just not, it's hard.
It isn't it? We have those expectations, you know. But
you know, like what you said as well of them being married and, you know, who's going to look after them when, you know, when we're gone from this world, like all of those things. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I worry about Aiden a lot. Yeah, and those are our expectations, like you said. They are, you know. So, like you said, we did mention about our fears as parents that we do we don't show it in front of people, but we do it quietly. Feel it. Yeah. But unless you talk to someone that you can relate to that has a child with special needs, where I really believe that it's made our friendship quite rich, and, you know, because of our boys. Yeah. And because Aiden and Joaquin have the same birthday. They do. And every time we catch up, we do talk about them, you know, and it's been encouraging for me, Rob. Like, it's helped me. Like, when you share about Joaquin and some of your challenges that you face, it's helped me where I could be transparent about me as a mum. Right. Okay. And even as a pastor's wife, that I don't have it perfect. Right. I have my messy days where it's one of those days where I want to break down. Right. And having a child with special needs, you know. Yeah. And you mentioned that your son, you know, he's taught you a lot. Yes. So me trying to understand Aiden's disability, it's actually taught me more about knowing, because he's got another. Well, he's starting, like, Aiden's disability. He's starting to talk to himself. Okay. So that's one that it's new. Yes. So he's starting to talk to himself, you know, and I'm like, okay. Yes. You know. So I don't know if there's another one that's going to come along. So just navigating.
Like intellectual disability is quite wide. Like there's so much. It's open. There's other diagnoses under that.
That's true.
One umbrella.
And you just don't know whether they're going to have other symptoms. That's right. Something else.
That's right.
Which that just reminded me, because like a couple of years ago, Joaquin had a seizure.
Okay, yes.
And he's never, ever had a seizure, like ever. And so that happened on the weekend of the minister's retreat. I was actually meant to come for a day, and then he had a seizure on that Friday night. And that just came out of like, oh my gosh. And the pediatrician never mentioned to us that he would be, you know, may have seizures. And then I found out when we went to the neurologist was that when kids enter into puberty or adolescence, just the brain development with the pituitary gland and everything, there's changes in the brain which can bring on the seizure. And he was going through puberty because he was He's 18 now, so he was 16.
Yeah.
And that was just something that we never thought, would happen. And so that was like another layer to his diagnosis of the global developmental delay or intellectual disability once they become school age, and then to have the seizures on top of that. And so now he's on medication.
Okay.
And he was never, ever on any sort of medication.
That would have frustrated you.
Oh, my gosh. That's like a whole nother session. I was like in the hyper-vigilant mode.
Wow.
I was like always scared that he would, have a seizure, and especially during the time when we had to wait because there was a waiting list for the neurologist and there was no medication. So from the time that he had the seizure up until 2-3 months after that, then we got him onto the medication. That was just, I was like sitting by his door. I had actually a baby monitor. So a good friend of ours from church.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, got us a baby monitor, lent her grandchild's baby monitor to us to use so that we would be able to hear him because I was sleeping with one eye.
I thought I was going to say we'd be light sleep.
Open, literally.
Wow.
Honestly. And the anxiety and everything that came up, it was just next level.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's something that I never
because he's not
thought.
Taking medication, not knowing.
No. And, what if he has another seizure?
Yeah.
And then you have other families who have children who have seizures all the time. Like they'll experience, 5 or 10 seizures a day. And I just think about, how they cope with that. And then it makes me think, oh my gosh, Lord, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so blessed that Joaquin doesn't have all of these other things. Like I don't have to, worry about all of these other multiple, health conditions and stuff. But that was hard.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you're right, just on that point, like, now that Aiden is older, he's like got a friend.
Yeah.
I'm like, who you talking to?
Who's your friend?
Yeah, exactly.
And he's saying, he calls him David or,
right, okay.
And I don't want, and another thing I'm like, I don't want people to think my son's crazy, but that's part of his disability,
right.
And, I cry when I talk about it.
Yeah, of course.
Because, it's like you said, it's another symptom that
it is.
That we don't know, like, are they going to get more symptoms?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but it is important to talk about it. It is important. Like, for I know some of the young mums that have kids with disabilities, they probably don't know where to go to talk about it. I think, let them know, go talk to a GP or a counsellor or someone in your church, your leader or even a mother or family member that has, like a little community that has, but there's so much stuff online about that
there is,
where you can go get that support, Robyn? So, so, and also, how did you handle public judgment and misunderstanding? How did you handle it? If you got people, judging you.
Yeah, well,
like even like, I mean,
people judge you. They're not going to come up to you.
No, they're not going to say it, but
right. But you can maybe feel the you get a sense, maybe.
Yeah. Or discernment.
Okay, that's it. Discernment. Sorry. Yeah, or you can feel it sometimes. Yeah. But with judgment, it's like, okay, it did affect me in the early days. But after it's
you don't care.
No, because it's like this is my priority.
Yeah, this is your life.
His disability.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
This is just how it is for us. So you either accept it
or not.
Or not. Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. That's good. That's a good
But it
one.
wasn't always that easy, right? I could say that. Yeah, in the beginning.
I used to worry about what people used to say. Like when like you said, we were talking earlier, like I didn't go to church because of Aiden.
Yeah.
Because I was the pastor's wife and I felt like a failure.
Right.
I mentioned that in the previous episode, just a snippet I mentioned about when I didn't go because of Aiden and I felt like a failure because I wasn't performing or wasn't being the pastor's wife there.
Exactly.
But my intention was my son. That was my motive, was just to be there for my son.
Right, yeah.
And like you said, it's God, family.
Yeah.
And then church.
Yeah. Definitely.
So that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
But it's a natural thing for us to love our kids because we don't want them to miss out.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and people being not understanding
No.
because they don't know.
No, and I mean, until you have, I mean, people can be empathetic and compassionate towards you because they may know somebody that has, you know, a child with special needs or whatever, but it's very different to walk the shoes of a parent that has, you know, a child with special needs and stuff. So,
definitely. And what would you say to some of the mums or parents who's just received news that their son or their child or family member that's been diagnosed? What would you say? What advice or would you give out?
I think probably pretty much I'll just echo what you said about, you know, educating yourself, like, you know, once you get the diagnosis, you know, try and look up as much, you know, information, ask your GP, you know, your pediatrician, get as much information about the condition and how to better support your child in that condition, and, you know, get them into, the earlier you get the diagnosis, the better as well, because especially with autistic children on the spectrum, the earlier that you pick it, and I think it's from around 2 or something, the better, you know, your chances are of getting some therapies in place and helping the child as well. So get them into therapy. My son in particular, you know, he does OT, he does speech therapy, and he does exercise physiology. And he's been doing that ever since he was, you know, little and stuff. And that's something that's going to be ongoing.
He's doing so well, though.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he's a crack up. He's a funny kid. So get them into the therapies that are needed. You know, talk to somebody like, you know, your friends or your family. Try and get as much information and try and get as much support as you can, because it can be very isolating when you close yourself off to people, right? So we both felt that, because, you know, in the beginning you're battling with the emotions of like, you know, what are people going to think about us, you know, if they find out that my child's got special needs. So you're battling in your mind, and when you battle, you close yourself off and then you become isolated. So it's so important to, you know, swallow your pride. You know, get as much help as you can.
Swallow that pride,
and you're doing it for your kid as well, like, you know, not just for yourself, but for your child. So, just when you first get the diagnosis, do those things, I think.
And your child will love you for it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you can see their progress.
Yes.
Because you're taking them to all these therapies, and getting all that support. Yeah. They will love it. And you'll see the change.
Yes.
You know, some people may not see it, or even the parent, sometimes they may not see it, but other people can see it.
Yeah.
You know, from where they were, you know, younger. And as they get up as an adult now, do you see the changes? Like, I see that in Joaquin.
Oh, okay, yes.
I see it, you know.
For sure. And obviously, like, their milestones will be very different to a child that doesn't have any conditions.
That's it.
I think as families like, you know, like ours, we celebrate.
Yeah, definitely.
the wins, the little wins, which is something that's like really small to a normal child, is huge
to
for
us.
It's absolutely huge.
You're so
it could be
right.
like first word. It could be, you know, they're walking.
Yeah.
Joaquin was 4.5 when he started walking. He was very late.
Yeah.
So just things like that, like, you know, they teach you as well to not take the small things for granted. Yeah, because, you know, it takes them time, and they teach us patience as well. Right, because you have to be so patient. It's like, why isn't he walking yet? Why isn't he doing this, or why isn't he doing that?
That's right. And being there for each other as a family, because it also shows a child with special needs that they're loved.
Yes.
Supporting one another, like, you know, celebrating their milestones that some families do take for granted, you know, and also like resilience also. That's another one.
That's a huge one.
That's something, you know, definitely. The strength, you know,
because, I mean, we need resilience to be able to get on, right? Yeah. So that's definitely one thing.
I can say that's one that's helped me. And I see that with you too, Robyn.
Yeah.
You know, we need that.
We do.
Yeah. And I thank God that that's helped me pull through.
Absolutely.
In my messy days.
If we weren't resilient, we'd be a mess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's a great advice to those mums that have just found out about their child being diagnosed, you know, and I echo with that, what you just said, you know, it's important for them to get that diagnosis earlier.
Yeah.
So then you can get it done.
Yeah.
Support this.
Exactly.
Supporters out there.
Yeah.
Get it done before NDIS finish the funding. Yeah.
I know.
Because I think I heard that somewhere.
That's a whole nother session. I mean, there's a lot of changes that have been brought by the NDIS, and it's unfortunate that we hear all this bad news about people taking advantage of it or rorting the system and stuff. But not only does it affect the people, but it affects us, the families that actually need the funding, to put our kids in therapy and stuff like that. So it's I hope things get better, and
it lightens the weight. It's really a burden off us financially.
It really does.
I mean, because you're a mum also, Robyn, and you also care for Joaquin. What do you do to help you to renew your strength, or do you take time out for yourself, for me time, as a mum? Like, what do you do to recharge your battery?
Okay, recharge.
Like silence and solitude time. What do you do?
Recharge. It just depends, really. Whatever I feel like. If I have a few hours away from him, I could either read a book or go out, get a massage or get my hair blow dried, or something like that. So I think all those little self-care things do kind of help, definitely. So it just really depends what I feel like doing.
And I think self-care is really important if you are caring for a child or even a family member that has a disability. Like for me, I care for my dad. He's got dementia. My self-care was just to go to the gym. It was a release for me.
That's amazing. That is awesome. I wish I could do that.
It was more of a stress release for me because, I'm dealing with an adult that has special needs. My dad, he used to care for me and I'm caring for him. So important for those that are caring to definitely self-care should be top on the list.
Oh my goodness, yes. So what else do you do? Gym? You do? I
don't stop the gym now. It's not good for the knees now. Okay. So I said, I do Pilates, but I've been doing more pickleball lately with the hubby.
Yeah, which is I love that.
The hubby, we try to do something that we both enjoy doing together. And it is kind of like a date night hangout because we're too busy with our kids at home in church. So that's a self-care for me. Sleep.
Definitely. And sleep.
Oh
my goodness.
When you do, are not as distracted.
Yes.
But do something that makes you happy. Makes you happy, fills your cup up.
Absolutely.
But other than that, no.
With that carer stuff, because you're caring for Aiden and you're also caring for your dad who has dementia, which is huge. That's massive. So talking about in the previous episode about the burnout, there's a thing called carer burnout as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of posts about it. And
is that online?
Yeah, there's a lot of things about carer burnout because, it's really easy to burn yourself out when you're caring for someone. You're constantly tending to their needs. And, I mean, it affects your physical body with the carer burnout.
Definitely,
So it can happen.
that's good because not a lot of people know where they can go to get help.
True.
You could do the personal ones, but then there's things out there you can burnout. That what you're sharing on, the burnout actually was part of me caring for dad, not because I took on so much in church, So that's a good one we can talk on. So special needs is a lot to talk about it, but this is our first session on special needs, and I hope our listeners out there and our viewers got something out of it. I really encourage you to, if you have a son or a child or a family member that you think they have a disability, please, I encourage you to get them diagnosed.
Yes.
Thank you again and for listening and for watching.